How many of you believe that? We're going to have an amazing time in today's class. If you believe it, let me see your best emoji in the chat box. No matter what happens, we're going to keep that energy up there. Yeah, thank you, Rukoyat. Thank you, Kabir, Emerald, Ajibola, Clement Johnson, Elizabeth, David. Thank you so much. I'm not talking, why are you using gun? Are you from the US? Oh my God. Thank you so much, guys. Wura, Chidiva, Cecilia. Oh my God. Okay, let's go. Yeah. So, today, this is the outline of this course. I'm going to introduce you to what user research is. I need to have my chat box open so that I can see any chat coming in. It helps with interaction. It helps me with feedback. I am so keen on feedback. So I need to minimize it as much as I can while we progress in the class. Emmanuel, I see your eagle. Yeah. See my spelling of conclusion, you guys, but nobody cares. I'll rectify it before I share this slide with you guys. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to introduce you guys to user research. I'm going to talk about how to conduct user research, the different types of user research, and how to conduct them. Then we're going to go to the famous user personas. I'm sure that you guys must have heard about user personas. And one brilliant thing came to my mind, which is to actually talk about, I'm sure that you guys must have heard about buyer personas. So we're going to examine the difference between user persona and buyer personas. And then we're going to go to market and competitors analysis. By the way, I just wanted to drop this. Competitive analysis was my first task on my role as a product manager. I was an associate product manager. I was working at Phonema. Phonema is a venture building startup that helps other startups through their product development stage. So I was on the product team, and my first assignment, my take home, my first real project was actually to do a competitors analysis. I did it so well that 3 years after that, my boss on the team then reached out to me to share a template with her, the template I used, because I did it so well. So that's how much I love competitors analysis. And you guys are going to be doing that. And then we're going to move to the conclusion, questions and answers, and then the yoga assessments. Myself and ChatGPT puts, a very detailed assessment. I had an assessment in mind, but I asked ChatGPT to help me, write it in a way that you guys will find it easy to break down and to submit. So there's the question and then there's the submission procedure. Now, I also want to go over our submission procedure here. For those that don't understand it yet, so what you have to do is, everyone has a Google Drive here. In your Google Drive, have a folder and name it Product Tent or Launchpad course, something that is sharp, under Product Tent. Now, in that folder, you're going to have your week 1 assignment in a Google Doc. Now, your week 2 assignment in a Google Doc. Now, this is week 3. After I give you another assessment, you create another Google Doc or slide or anyone you want to use. You create it there. That's going to be your week 3. In week 4, in that same folder, so that by the end of your stay here, by the end of your training program, everything is going to be in one cohesive, it's going to be in one point. So for those of you that are submitted, I noticed that a lot of people are sharing Google Doc alone with me. Some people share the link to Google Doc. Some people share the link to the folder. That's pardonable. I guess we did not explain it enough. So I'm going over it again. Yes, we've done just one task, Rufus. We've done just one task. So I'm just going over it again to ensure that. So if you've shared only a link to Google Doc with me, go and create a folder and name it Launchpad course for product managers. Yeah, put your name there. Soporuchi Rufus, Launchpad course for product managers. That should be the name of your folder. Then week 1, you name it. Well, I'm sorry, week 2 assessments, week 3 assessments, week 4 assessments. So that by the end of everything there's going to be like a consolidation. Everything is in the same folder. I hope that you guys understand what I just said. Yes, it's the link you guys are going to share, not the folder. It's the link. And ensure that we can view the folder and comment on it. That is how you get feedback on your assignments, on your assessments. Okay. let's just get right into it. Okay, Tosin, I'm going to explain at the end of the class. I don't want to waste our time. Yeah. All right. You know me, yeah. I always like to start with an amazing quote. And I saw how someone, I think it was Olorokia Samuel, that quoted my quote. Who can remind me of the quote I used in last class? In God we trust.
Every other person must bring data.
Amazing. Well, I used that too. But this particular one was what I reiterated a whole lot. In God we trust. Others must bring data. Others must present data. Good is the enemy of great. Yeah, I use that too, actually. I use that too. So my quote for this class is, for successful product development, user research is a must. It's not a should. It's not a thing of a will. It's not a thing of, it's not a probability. It's not a chance thing. It is a must. Yeah, and you guys are going to see why in the next few slides. So, introduction, first of all. I said, as a product manager, your number one goal, your primary goal, is to give your users what they want. I'm sure that in every class, I always mention this. Who can testify to that? I always say it. Your user is your focus. Your user is your primary goal. Your user is your objective. Your user is your everything, because that is why you are there. If you are not satisfying your user, I'm very sorry, your job will be lost, my dear product manager. Yeah. So how do we now get to know what our users want? I mean, I'm not a witch here. I can't read minds. I'm not an X-Man. For anyone who watches X-Men sequels or series, how do I get to know what they want? The answer, of course, is user research. And I define here that user research is the discipline of learning about users' needs and thought processes. Learning about users' needs and thought processes by studying how they perform tasks, observing how they interact with the products, and by using other data-driven strategies. So you study how they perform tasks, you observe how they interact with your products, and then you now input other data-driven strategies, data-informed strategies, data-backed strategies. This is how product development teams find out who their target users are, what they expect from the product, what satisfies them, and what delights them. Literally, you are living for your users. In fact, you are in a relationship with your users. Not romantic, but you are in a relationship with your users. For product managers, user research is a key part of your role and an absolutely vital skill if you want to progress in your product management career. Please, if you are with me, just let me see your yes, 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 yes in the chat box. I want to ensure that I drive this home as much as I can. I want to ensure that I drive this home as much as I can. Let me just go over it again for anyone that might have been distracted. Yeah? At the core of your role as a product manager is an in-depth understanding of your users. What do they want? How do they want it? Where do they want it? When do they want it? Yeah? But you can't just know that randomly. It's not something that happens randomly. What helps you know these things is what, guys? What helps you get to know these things is what? User research. User research. Thank you. What is now the purpose of user research? There are so many purposes of user research, but I was able to, pick out the three most important. And this purpose of user research, you can also call them objectives of user research, goals of user research, importance of user research, my dear. But these things are very important. They are important to your role as a product manager. They are important to the users you are building the products for. They are important to your company as a whole. They are important to achieving your business goals. Yeah, they are important to even all other departments in your organization. The first and most important is to build and design products that resonate and that are relevant to your users. See, as a product manager, you cannot build abstractly. What did I say, guys? I want someone to put that in the chat box. You cannot build abstractly. You cannot have an idea and say that I want to just run with this based on my feelings, based on vibes. It's not based on vibes, guys. You cannot build abstractly. Another one is you cannot build or design with assumptions. You cannot build or design with assumptions. You can't just assume that this is the best way to present or to provide a solution to your users. So maybe as you grow as a product manager, you will come across the term product market fit. I'm sure most of you might have heard about it. Product market fit is basically ensuring that the product that you built and the market that you built it for, they fit together. Yeah? Permit you to use Yoruba. The product you have is fitting for the market. Exactly. The product you have is fitting for the market that you built it for. And how do you achieve product market fit? One of the best and most reliable ways is through user research. Emmanuel, well. Another way, and another purpose, another reason why we do product user research is to help businesses find the most powerful ways to communicate the product's benefits to those users. So now that you have designed and built a product that resonates and that is relevant to your user, you also need to find a way to communicate this product to your users. And how do you achieve that again? Thank you, Rukoyat. Product messaging, product positioning, product marketing. User research is also at the core of it. Your social media manager, your product marketer, your growth specialist, your business analyst, all of them, they benefit from user research. Like I said at the beginning, there is no department in your company that is not going to benefit from user research. So this is not just something that, oh, you only do because of doing sake as a product manager. You do it for the sake of your company as a whole. And last but not the least, very important, to save the money and time that would have been wasted on redevelopments, because a company that does not do user research from the onset of their product development or through their product lifecycle is going to waste money and time on redevelopment. So as a product manager, someone involved intrinsically, oh my God, intrinsically in the development of products, you want to ensure that you get it right from the beginning. If you laugh at me, God is judging you. You want to ensure that you get it right from the beginning. Yeah. If you laugh at me, I'm just very, very embarrassed that this is going to end up on YouTube and generations to come will hear, oh my God. But you know what? We don't despise the days of little beginnings. Yeah. Very soon, you guys are going to be seeing me on TechCon, Global Tech Summit. By that time, I'll have worked on my, my English. Thank you. So yeah, I'm sure that a lot of you might have, maybe during your final year project, you might have come across quantitative and qualitative research. Yeah, quantitative and qualitative research. So it's the same. It's the same analogy. It's the same template. The same way you do research in your school and you make use of quantitative and qualitative research is the same way also under user research in the process of product development. You also do quantitative and qualitative user research. Now, quantitative user research is a product design and development teams used to test their assumptions about people and the market. They gather statistical and numerical data. So the major reason, like the word itself implies, quantitative, you want to quantify using statistical and numerical data. Businesses use this quantified data to draw generalized, unbiased conclusions about the behavior and the attitude of their target audience. Guys, please don't let this big grammar bamboozle you. Don't let it bamboozle you. Let me take that again so that you can understand. Businesses use this quantified data to draw generalized, unbiased conclusions about the behavior and attitude of their target audience. This is how you ask the what, the where, the when, and the how many questions. Who can reiterate those 4 questions that you ask using quantified data? The what, the where, the when, and how many. Thank you so much, Rukayat. I can see that you're paying attention. And as always, guys, bring out your notepad and write. There are some things I will be saying that are not in this slide, because the purpose of a slide is not actually to put in everything. It's just to help you visualize things. Another reason why you need to write is it's like a 2-factor authentication, like I said. You are hearing me, which is entering your memory, then you are also writing, and it is re-registering in your mind. Yeah. And then if peradventure you lose this slide or something, or you want to understand in your own lingo, you can go back to your notes. So it's super important that you take notes, guys. And then to the qualitative user research, like the name itself also implies, this is much more in-depth. This helps you achieve, quality feedback from your user, from your market, from your target audience. And I said that this one involves answering open-ended questions. So you can already assume that in quantitative user research, you ask close-ended questions. Yeah, you ask people, are you Black? Or what tribe or race do you belong to? So we have African or Black American, Asian, Caucasian, Latinos, Native Americans, and all that. Yeah, those are the questions you ask in quantitative. Now in qualitative, you go deep. Yeah, you ask behavioral questions. Thank you, Mohammed. You ask questions like, why do you feel somehow because you are Black? How do you think the color of your skin influences the quality of your life? Those are in-depth questions. They help to give you in-depth contextual insight into your target audience. They help you understand and get to the how and why. They help you go to the backstage of your target audience, literally. So imagine that, you are at a conference or a concert. On the stage, you can see the lights. You can see that the light is blue. You can see that, the people there are sitting. You can see that there is a screen at the back. And but using that, you can determine that, oh, this is the color of or these are the people that came. These are the names of the people. This is the color of the lighting on the screen. But qualitative is going to the backstage to say, oh, who is mixing the sound? What type of microphones are being used to produce this sound? Who is in charge of the lighting? What type of, what was the thought process behind, choosing this type of lighting? Yeah. Another example I want to give in respect to product management is, I'm going to use Chicken Republic because I use Chicken Republic a lot. I eat out a lot. I feel like that will finally happen to you when you're a product manager. So I eat out a lot, and there's a Chicken Republic at my junction, like just 5 minutes away. So if I'm a product manager and I want to do quantitative user research, I can say, okay, how many packs of referral marks do we sell daily? Yeah. I can ask, are there certain days of the week where we get more orders than other days? For example, I might also want to say, okay, are there seasons where we sell ice cream more than the other? So you just try to get numbers, basically. But in-depth or qualitative user research is basically saying that, okay, I have seen that towards the end of the week or towards certain festive periods, yeah, there is a hike in the orders that we get, or towards certain weather conditions, like in the heat, we sell more ice cream. Why do people buy more ice cream? during the heat period? Yeah. What motivates them to work many hours or to leave wherever they are to come and buy ice cream? Now, quantitative is basically saying that, oh, we notice that, there's a 50% improvement in our sales during the rainy season. During the hot season, when it comes to the sales of ice cream. Qualitative is saying that, okay, why is that happening? It's because of the weather. Aside that, is there a pleasure that people derive from the consumption of ice cream? How does it make them feel? Do they go for the cone ice cream or do they go for the ones in the cup? I hope that you guys are seeing the questions I'm asking, how deep they are. Okay, if they go for the cup, is it the children? Is there a certain age range that goes for the cone, the biscuits, or the waffles ice cream? And is there a certain age range? So that will tell you that, okay, there's a certain age range that goes for the waffle ice cream. Then in a public holiday like Children's Day, you want to ensure that your company does not run out of waffles because you know that this is a holiday for kids and they are going to order more cone ice creams. I hope that you guys are following my thought process. Let me know if you guys are following my thought process and I've not lost you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Qualitative user research is where you understand your target audience and feel and think the way they do. It helps you expose hidden truths about their needs, their motivations, their hopes, their dreams, their pain points, and more. So now, types of quantitative user research. Now, before we go on, don't lose focus. Why ice cream? Before we go on, guys, I just want to ensure that you guys understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Who can just tell me what I mentioned, a few things I mentioned as regards the difference between quantitative and qualitative user research, just in a line. The ability, the test of your understanding is how simple you are able to actually express what you understand. Yeah, so I just want to see in a few lines, what do you think the difference between quantitative and qualitative is? I want to know you guys see the keywords and you understand well before we go on. Before we go on, waiting. It doesn't have to be ambiguous. You can just use a line to just explain. Close-ended and open-ended question, nice. Number question, yes, statistical, hey, wow. Statistical, numerical. When you think of numbers, percentages, that's what you derive from quantitative. But when you want to go in depth, you want to answer the how and why questions. Exactly, guys. Detailed explanation is about the unseen. Exactly. Thank you, Kingsley. I can see the amazing responses. Numerical data, the rationale. Oh my God, David. David. Kneel down. Let me pray for you. You want to understand the rationale behind that numerical data. That is so precise and spot on. Guys, measurable data, behavioral accounts. Thank you so much, Ajibola. Yeah, Sheifumi. Oh my God, I am so proud and impressed right now. Thank you, guys. It shows that you guys are actually listening to me. So now let's look at a few ways to actually conduct quantitative user research. Usability testing. I'm sure that a lot of you guys know if you are actually a good product manager and you are doing some research, you must have come across usability testing. If usability testing resonates with you, let me see your hands in the chat box. I mean, someone must have mentioned it. You must have heard me say it. Someone, must have heard another PM say it. You must have come across it. You must have heard a designer say it. Thank you. Thank you. So basically, usability testing is when users are asked to perform specific tasks on a product or service, and their success rate or time to completion are measured. Let me go over that again for those that might be taking notes. Usability testing is basically when you ask your users or your target audience to perform specific tasks on your product or service, and then you measure their success rates. You can see that it's quantitative in the sense that all you just do there is to statistically measure, okay, out of the 7 tasks that you guys did, there you were able to successfully complete 5 out of 7. Okay, out of those 5, the time to completion is supposed to be maybe 5 seconds, but on certain tasks, you guys spent, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, a minute. Yeah. Exactly, Mohammed. Now, user surveys. I'm sure that in school you must have conducted a survey. And in user survey, that's where you come across questionnaires. That's where you use questionnaires, which is actually one of the most popular ways that people do user research. So this is where a set of questions is administered, to a large number of users to just collect data on their opinions, their demography, their age. That's where you ask their age, their gender. This is where you get to know where they work, the size of their organization, and the likes, basically. And then analytics. Analytics is basically when you use a tool. I mentioned analyzing your product or your app in one of our classes. So basically, the insights that you generate from these analytics, you've seen that, okay, our users they click on certain buttons more than they do the other, or there's a drop-off at these certain places more than others. So when you bring all this data together, you can actually get to know more about your users. And this is basically what analytics does. Then A or B testing. And like I always say, this is a disclaimer, guys. These explanations that I am giving do not suffice as sufficient knowledge on these topics. You have to go back and do your own homework. And that is the reason why you are going to be having a take-home assessment. This assessment will enable you to actually practicalize some of these things that we are mentioning here. And A/B testing is, like the name implies, A or B testing. Thank you, Rukoyat. So you have 2 versions of your product. Then you bring real life users to just say, which one do you prefer? So you name one A and you name the other one B. So 2 versions of your product or your service are presented to your users, and then their behavior to these 2 versions is analyzed to determine which one is most effective, which one is best, which one best solve their problem, which one is more innovative, which one is more user-centric, which one is easier to use, which one is more intuitive. I hope that you guys are understanding me. Thank you so much, guys. Now, oh my God, this is supposed to be qualitative. I made a tautology here. This is qualitative. I'll make sure that I rectify it. Okay, Cynthia, let me go over A or B testing. Like the name implies, you can see here, A or B testing. So basically, A or B testing is basically presenting 2 versions of your product. 2 versions of your product. Then you ask real life users to use them. While using them, you analyze their behavior. You analyze how they use it. And then you can use that to decide which one is the most effective version of your product or service. So let me give an example here. Imagine that you want to determine the landing page of, let me give that, that's too complex. There's onion noodles and there's crayfish. Now imagine that in your board of directors have said, you know what, we need to cut down on the price that we spend on production. So you would need to choose one between the onion flavor and the crayfish flavor of Indomie noodles. One of the best ways you can determine that is to conduct A/B testing. So you bring your users in real life, you put those two noodles under the same condition, maybe of cooking, design, and then you ask them to choose, you ask them to eat, to determine, okay, which one do our users or our consumers, which one do they love the most? So the feedback you now get from that A/B testing now helps you choose the best decision, the best version of your product, of your service. I hope that I was able to answer your question, Cynthia. Thank you. All right. All right. All right. I'm glad I was able to. Analytics is basically data from your web app, your website, your social media, from your application, from your feedback, basically analytics. Yes, each user experiences both A and B, exactly. So the data and insights that you get from all these places, you just look at them. For example, I once had the privilege to run a social media page, and I noticed that some posts that I put at night, posts that I make at night, say within the hours of 8 to 10, they get more engagement than posts I make in the middle of the day. And why is that? So that is basically me getting informed that, okay, that means that from this time henceforth, the post I will be making on social media will be within this time frame. That's basically how analytics helps you understand your own users. Now, qualitative data is now saying, why do they engage with posts at that time of the day? Does that mean that most people now have time? Does that mean that my target audience have time to go through my page or are more on Instagram during that hour? So I hope, Monday Confidence, I hope I was able to answer your question about analytics. I really need us to rush this. Still have a long way to go. Please let me know in the chat box. All right. So types of qualitative user research. User interview, I mean, like the name implies, open-ended questions. You sit your users down, and it doesn't really have to honestly be physical. With the way the world is going, you can do your user interviews virtually, you can do it on the phone. And what do your user interviews do? Basically, it helps you you have one-on-one conversations with your users, with your target audience. It helps you understand their needs. It helps you get their opinions. It helps you know about, their experience when they use your product, or even when they use a competitor's product. Now, focus group discussion. This one is more about, a group. Now, user interview is a one-on-one conversation. It's basically with a user. Now, focus group discussion is with a group of users that fall into the demography of your target audience. Yeah. And so there is a topic to discuss. This is qualitative. I made a mistake. I said it at the beginning. This is qualitative. I will correct it before I share the slide. This is qualitative user research. It was a mistake in the spelling. Qualitative user research. So who can just reiterate what I said the difference between user interview and focus group discussions are? Who can just reiterate? Let me know if you guys are with me. Oh my God, my back. User interview one-on-one, yeah. Thank you. How about focus group discussion? A group of people, brilliant, Jimo. A group of people, out of your target audience, or potential users, or even existing users. Thank you so much. I am so impressed. I'm so encouraged that you guys are listening in on this class. Last but not the least is user testing. Now, some people might want to say that usability testing and user testing are the same thing, but they are not. Usability is basically observing how, observing how the ability to use certain functions of your app, and then you just measure it using numerical or statistical data. But user testing, yeah, when your users are done doing this task on your product, you now ask for their opinion. You ask for their experience. You get their feedback. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, so that you don't mix things up. Usability testing, you basically measure statistical data, such as, the success rate, the time to completion, yeah? The amount of buttons clicked, the places where your users got stuck. But in user testing, when you are done asking them to complete these things, you now get their feedback. You listen to their opinions. You observe their behavior. Do you see your users squinting their faces to see something? Then you know that, okay, there's a problem with the color of certain buttons. You ask for their experience. How did that go? How easy was it for you to save your file? How easy is it for you to download documents on our application? Do you guys understand? I hope that I've been really able to explain the differences between the types of qualitative data and quantitative data in this class. All right. Now, to one of the best parts of this class, developing your user persona. Developing your user persona. How many of you have come across something like this before? Yeah, thank you. I can see the energy in the chat box. Your job, you can see someone, you can see someone here. It doesn't really have to be a real life person. You can see Julia, you can see job title, location, company size, industry, acquisition channels, the goal, the frustration. So basically, this is what a user persona is. Yeah, if you don't know yet, if you've prepared one to, amazing. I mean, you won't find it hard to do when you are doing your assessment. You can see personality, you can see the tech savviness, you can see emoji use. Now, I'm still going to kill this chicken one day, but let's just go on with this class. Now, what is a user persona? Who is a user persona? A user persona is a fictional representation of a user group that represent. Oh my God, guys. It feels like this chicken knows when I am in a meeting or a class and just decides to cry at that very time.
That's your salami too. That's your salami.
Okay. At least if they arrest me, you people will come and bail me out for killing another person's chicken. All right, guys. So a user persona is a fictional representation of a user group that represent the needs, the goals, and the behaviors, the characteristics of a specific target audience. It is one of the ways product managers can create more targeted and effective products that meet the needs of their users and ultimately drives business success. Let me just go over that again without all the grammar that I just said. A user persona is basically how you represent the people that your product is meant for. And the way I will understand if you guys understand this, okay. What is the typical user persona of a product like Pampers? Who can just give me like examples? Babies, thank you, 0 to 3. A nursing mother, we're going to come back to that, just hold that. But babies are actually the right answer, 0 to 3 years old. Thank you so much. Imagine that there is a product, let me think of another one. One of my like favorite products. Babies live in Lagos. Amazing, amazing. One of my favorite products that I use almost every day. Yeah. A-food. So A-food is basically something like child egg. So A-food or child egg, I'm sure that by now you guys know that I like food. So if you want to buy me something, it's food. Just buy me food. Food just solves every problem, man. So who is the typical user persona for A-food or child egg? Busy professionals. Thank you. Remote tech professionals, people that work remotely. Gen Zs, of course. What do you think their age range is going to look like? Just make, an assumption. Food enthusiasts, 18 to 40, amazing. 20 to 27, yeah, cool. Thank you, guys. I can see that we are together. What do you think the goal of a potential user of child egg or A-food? What do you think the goal of that person is? What do they want to achieve? Convenience, oh my God, Abayomi. Good meals. But I think convenience is actually the best I have seen. Ease. Saving of time and money. Omo. Saving of time and money. I want to order my food and get it ASAP. No stress. I don't want to go and if I want to make, imagine I want to make ewa going now. I'll not enter the kitchen. I'll not be bleaching palm oil and be coughing like somebody that there's something in our throat. Please. I don't want to do such. I'm a soft babe. Soft life. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not saving money. Don't worry. I make enough to buy food for myself. The reason why I'm working is so that I will be able to buy food and live this soft life. You get me? You get me? That aside. Eating a variety of meals. Imagine I want to eat banga soup now and starch. I will not. It's only Wura that can go through that stress. Me, I cannot do it. I will just order it. I cannot start turning starch. Or I want to make abula now, and I start grinding beans to make what's this thing called? Ogbono. No, not me. I can't do such. So I see that you guys actually understand what I'm trying to say. Begiri, thank you. The name is Begiri. David, don't like Konjeo. So user personas help product managers to better understand the needs, wants, and the behaviors of their target audience. So for example, now, if food someone is unmuted. If food is going to like, if they want to do like advertisements now, places they will be, imagine there is a tech summit in Ibadan. Where do you think A-food is going to be there or not? Are they going to sponsor an event like that? They will be there because that is where their user personas are. So do you guys understand how user research and developing your user persona, it informs everything? And an app like A-food or Child Egg cannot build a nonsense product. You can't build your product like Excel spreadsheets. You have to use colors because these people you are building for, they are people that they are in town. They love colors. They love product designs that are intuitive. You want to gamify the experience. You want to use as many, cartoon, maybe cartoon characters, or, just make it very interactive. And then user personas also help design teams to create more user-centered products and services. Now, to develop user personas, product managers typically use a combination of research techniques such as surveys, interviews, focus groups, and user testing to collect data about their target audience. So one of the amazing things that you derive from user research is the development of your user personas. They may also use existing data such as analytics data or market research to inform the development of their user personas. Now, the development of user persona is an iterative process. Somebody say iterative process. What do I mean by iterative process? Who can answer that? What do I mean by this? I'm sure that I have used iteration a lot in this class. What do you mean by iterative process or iterative process? Whatever it's repeated over and over, constant repetition. Thank you. It's a cycle that never ends. You keep modifying, you keep refining your user personas because the market changes, your product changes, your user group changes, your company changes, the environment changes, the weather changes, the needs of people changes. So as new data becomes available, product managers may and actually should revise and update their personas to ensure that they accurately represent their target audience. I hope that we are together. I hope that you guys are having an amazing time in this class. Thank you. So you know that I mentioned that we are going to talk about a user persona versus a buyer persona. So I asked a very tricky question the other time, that who are the user personas of Pampers? And some people said nursing mothers. Now, while nursing mothers are part of the target audience, nursing mothers are actually the buyer personas. They are the ones that make the purchasing decisions. Are you guys getting me? So your buyer persona are the people that make the purchasing decision. They have the buying power. They make decision when it comes. They are the ones with the motivation to buy your products, while your user personas are actually the people that use and experience, the end consumers of your product. The two of them are part of your target audience. They are super important to your target audience. They make up your target audience, but the role that they play are different. That is why when Peak Milk wants to do an advertisement, you will see kids there. But who is the person that is giving the Peak Milk to the kids, guys? The mothers, the parents. Thank you. Because they are the ones with the purchasing powers. They are the ones who go to the spa. Yeah. They are the ones who their eyes will catch the container. Yeah. And they are the ones that will make exactly Maggie adverts. So in developing your product, you have to take note of both your buyer persona and your user persona. You have to take note of both your buyer personas and your user persona. So imagine that you want to design the container for Peak Milk now. While it is important that you put kids there, you also want to ensure that it looks as hygienic as possible, because those are the things that mothers will look out for. That is why when they want to Pampers looks very soft, because even though kids that are going to experience these things, even though, they are the ones that will experience it, they're not the ones that will buy it. Yeah, so they make it soft, they make it look fluffy, so that the mothers can be attracted, they can feel these things and consider it safe for their children to use. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Now, your user personas are focused on the needs, the goals, and the behaviors of your users, while the buyer personas are focused on the purchasing. See, I've not even seen this before I said that. The purchasing behavior, the motivation, and decision-making process of customers. Another difference between user personas and buyer persona is that user personas are typically used in the early stages of product development to inform product design and development decisions, while the buyer personas are used in the later stages of marketing and sales to inform the marketing messaging and campaign strategies. Now, back to the use of Peak Milk. I have been consuming Peak Milk for as long as I can. So Peak Milk is designed as a milk. They say it gives you energy. It has so and so. It does so we are making it for kids. Yeah, Peak 1, 2, 3. We're making it all Or what's this clinical gold that they make for? I cannot use Cerelac because there's some Magbaya here that used to take Cerelac. Cerelac is for kids, and you guys consume Cerelac.
Golden one.
SMA Gold. Thank you so much, Emerald. SMA Gold. When they want to start producing a product like SMA Gold, yeah, they made it with the intention of providing nutrients for babies. But when they want to market SMA Gold, they market with the intention of attracting the mothers. Now, their user persona is what informs the product development at the early stage. But when they want to do the product messaging, the marketing strategies, they have to consider the buyer personas, which are the mothers and the fathers. You guys getting me? I hope that you guys understand that and you are grabbing what I'm saying. Thank you so much. Now, the last but not the least, the objective of a user persona is to help you empathize with those who use what you produce, while the end goal of a buyer persona is to better understand how that person behaves and makes decision as a consumer. Now, let me say that there are so many instances where your user and your buyer persona are actually the same people. It does not always have to be different, but there are other instances where they are different people, like the example of the Pampers that we have given. E.g., a food now you want chop, now you go buy your food yourself. Child deck, now you want chop, now you go buy your food yourself. So you are both the user persona and the buyer persona. I hope that you guys have taken note of that. Bambi is asking me to allow you people go on break, but I can't because my battery is going down, there's no light, and we must finish this class. How many people want us to continue? We are almost done. Thank you. Oh, Bambi, your students have spoken. So somebody say we move. So this is the last but not the least part of our class today, market and competition analysis. So at the core of conducting user research is your market analysis and your competition analysis. Although they are different and you understand why, market and competition analysis are both two key components of a broader market research process to help businesses understand their position in the market and identify potential opportunities and challenges. So the reason why we do market research, we're going to get the requires, just calm down. The person they are bringing the bride for, do not used to, stretch the neck. You are Yoruba, you understand. Exactly. So they are different. The two of them help us understand, help businesses, help product managers, help business analysts, help UI and UX designers, help sales representatives, help growth specialists understand where their products are in the market. And it also helps them to identify the opportunities and the challenges that exist. Now, market analysis is broad. When you do market analysis, you will do competition analysis. But when you do competition analysis, you are not entirely doing a market analysis. Let me go over that again. When you are doing your market analysis, you will do a competition analysis. But a competition analysis is just a part of market analysis. Who can read that in the chat box so that I can know that we are together? Waiting.
Hello, Gladys. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello? Okay, please confirm if you saw the message I sent earlier.
I saw the message you sent and I asked them if they wanted me
to and that's fine.
Continue. Thank you so much. Basically, thank you. Competition analysis is a subset of market analysis. When you do a thorough market analysis rather, you would definitely have to do a competition analysis, but a competition analysis is just a part of market analysis. So what are we saying? What's market analysis? It involves the gathering of data and insights about your overall market landscape. You get to know the size of your market trends, your customer needs, your preference, and your competitors. Like I just said, it is used to assess the overall attractiveness of your market. It is used to identify the potential gaps or opportunities in your market. It is used to inform the strategic decision making around your product, pricing, marketing, distribution. While competitive analysis or competition analysis or competitors analysis, the same thing, no? On the other hand, focuses specially on understanding the strength and the weaknesses of the competing business and products within your market. It involves analyzing competitors' products and services, their pricing strategies, marketing messages, and distribution channels. By understanding the competitive landscape, businesses can identify where they can differentiate themselves and develop a competitive advantage, as well as identify the potential threats to their market position. For example, how many of you heard of the closure of LaserPay? Thank you. Thank you. If you've not heard about it, then you are not doing your homework as a product manager. I told you to always be, you have to, your news has to, like, your antenna to news, especially in the tech industry, has to be very high. And, LaserPay closed down, unfortunately. Like, my heart really goes out to the founders, to, everyone. There are some, on LinkedIn, my dear, LinkedIn, Twitter, those are my two sources of news. You can also subscribe to newsletters like Tech Cabal. You guys can just make suggestions in the chat box. I read Tech Cabal a whole lot, so you can subscribe to Ask Sultan's newsletter. He also gathers news about the tech industry. TechCrunch, thank you, Riha. What's that Ask Sultan's newsletter, by the way? Who can remind me? Ask Sultan is the co-founder of Old School Africa. So he has a new newsletter where he gathers news about the tech industry. So just subscribe to places like this and you just get them delivered. NTBTS, thank you so much, Adelaide. So guys, as I was saying, when you want to now build a product that is maybe directly or indirectly related to LaserPay, it will be very important for you to now understand what happened, what led to the closure of a company like LaserPay. Why did they have to close down? All right, guys, my Learning and Development Associate is saying I should remind you to update your names for attendance. It is very important. Please, we cannot say this enough. At this point, I even thought that we won't have to mention it, but it seems like we still have to remind people. Ensure that the name that is displayed is the name that you applied to this program with. So now let's go on. Now, I mentioned in market analysis that you should be able to determine your market size. And I just want to go over this template that we as product managers use, especially at the onset of a new feature or a new product. It's called the market size. How do you come at estimating your market size? You look at your TAM, your SAM, your target market, and your market share. Your TAM is your total addressable market. This is like the total global opportunity for these products. Like that's the highest number. The highest number. Now, your serviceable addressable market. What part of this total addressable market can you actually serve? That is like the capacity of your company or your product when it eventually gets to where you want to get to. Now, out of this serviceable addressable market, who are the people that you want to reach? These are your target markets. And then out of your target market, then you now take out your market share. When you now reach this target market, how much can you make as a company? what's the revenue potential? What percent of these people can you reach? Can you service? Can you sell your product to? And that is how you achieve your market share. I have to rush over this because time is not our friend. Now, how to conduct a competitor's analysis. Someone asked about SWOT the other time, and we are going to go over that. Now, identify your competitors. So there are basically 3 types of competitors, 3 categories of competitors. If you want to leave, please do. Don't worry, the recording will be made available, but I would really admonish you to wait till the end of the class because I'm going to go over the assessments so that everyone can fully understand. But of course, the recording will be available for those that have no choice but to leave. So it's fine, Jemima. Identify your competitors. Your direct competitors, those are the people that like, you guys are producing the same thing, the absolute same thing. Then indirect competitors, they are not producing the same thing, or let me say that, how do I explain this? But they are producing something very similar. They are producing something very similar. For example, what example can I use? Let me use sanitary pads. Always sanitary pads is, let's say you are working for a company that does Always sanitary pads. A direct competitor of Always is what? Moped. Thank you. Moped. Who can give me more examples of direct competitors of Always? Dry Love, Vironi, Lady Care. Thank you so much. Now, indirect competitors are tampons, cups, actually. Thank you for looking. Don't worry that. Yes. Now, I want to know if you guys understand this. Now, substitute competitors. These are the type of products that if your users do not get your product, they can use this as a substitute in the meantime. Tissues. Thank you. I saw people even use clothes. That's what our mothers and our grandmothers used to use. So there's no shame there. Napkin. These are substitutes. Now, ladies, let's not leave the men behind. Let's not leave the men behind. I can see that David is ewing. Let's bring it down to A food and child deck. You know I love food already. Who is a direct competitor of child deck in Lagos? Jumia Food, Bold Food, Global, Food Court. Thank you, guys. Now, who is an indirect competitor? Eden Life. Actually, an indirect competitor is not Mama Put. Mama Put is a substitute. If you cannot access Global, a substitute is going to be your Mama Put, where your users will say, you know what, I still want ready-made food, yeah, but I cannot get delivery at the moment. Let me just go to somebody on the street and get ready-made food. That is a substitute. Guys, don't mix it up. Indirect substitutes are not the same as substitutes. Direct substitutes are basically if your target audience cannot find your product and they can't find your direct competitors, where will they go to? Indirect is basically saying that, okay, they provide something in line with your product, but not exactly the same. For example, Eden Life, their own is, they provide something in line with what Child Deck provides, but it's not exactly the same because they include like housing, clean of the house, they include scheduling where you can a subscription. That is not exactly a direct competitor. They include laundry too. Thank you, Shay Fumi. They include laundry too. So they are indirect competitors. But a substitute is a product that they will jump at when they cannot access your product or your direct competitor's products. So Glovo is a direct competitor. Mama Put is a substitute. Now, after you've identified your competitors, you gather information about your competitors using the 4 P's of marketing. I want to know people that know the 4 P's of marketing in this class. So who can tell me the 4 P's of marketing? Price. Yes, another one. Promotion. Thank you. Products, people, place. And you know the thing about these 4 P's of marketing, they are so much. In fact, I saw another article that had like 10. Positioning, they added positioning to it because it just depends on how in-depth you want to go. So the price, the people, the product, the promotion, the pricing, the positioning, it never ends, guys. Welcome to product management. There is no end to knowledge. Now, number 3 is for you to analyze your competitor's strengths and weaknesses. And this is where you now conduct your SWOT analysis. Who can tell me what the full name of SWOT is? Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Then after doing this, you determine your competitive advantage. After doing this, you determine your competitive advantage. What is the sweet spot here? What's the blind spot of my competitor? For example, Childec did a competitive, I'm sure they did a competitive analysis of the delivery, the delivery industry in Lagos. And they saw that the blind spot of a product like Jumia Food is that their delivery and their logistics is trash, basic trash. And what did they do? They ensure that their logistics is on point. They did not even spend so much time marketing and Childec is here. People are the ones doing the marketing for them because the main reason why people order food is to get it there on time. So why do I need to wait for 1 hour? 10, 15 minutes, your food is there. Competitive advantage is where you see your unique selling point. Thank you so much, guys. Is where you see the sweet spot, where you see your competitive advantage. And their users are informed that every step, oh my God, that's so brilliant. That's a user-centric product, guys. Do you get? Something we discussed about the attributes of a great product is user-centric. It has the user at mind. And then number 5, you keep iterating. Is it iterating or iterating? I don't even know. You keep iterating, guys. Because like I said, almost every process in product management is important that you keep refining, getting feedback, iterating until awesome. So that, because things are ever changing, your industry is ever changing, your needs of your users are ever changing. The resources in your company are also ever changing. Do you know that it's so important to continue conducting analysis to the extent that if you change your designer, you will see that the type of designs that you even roll out as a company will also change because 2 designers do not think the same way. What will allow them think the same way is in your user research. That is why it is important to keep doing it. In conclusion, guys, I hope that you guys have had fun in this class. I hope you've had as much fun as I had teaching this class. In conclusion, I know, right? I don't want the class to end, so yeah. The beauty of user research in product management is that it is valuable for everyone involved. Guys, I mentioned that whether it's your business analyst, your software developer, your UX designer, your UI designer, your growth specialist, your marketer, your sales team, your business analyst, or you yourself as a product manager, user research is valuable to every single person and at every single stage. Your users get a product that genuinely serves their needs. Your design team knows that they are moving along the right track, and it saves your business the time and resources by only investing in the most relevant ideas. This is why it is important to begin your research at the very onset. When do you start our user research, guys? The very onset of your product development process. At the very point of, who can remind me of the first point, the onset of the product development process? I want to know those who go back to their slides. Introduction, no, that is the product life cycle. Thank you, Rufus. Ideation is at the point of ideation that you start your user research. Let David, it do happen once in a while. That does not nullify the fact that you are still a very smart guy. And it should continue throughout your product life cycle. Whether you're at introduction, you're growing, you're about to scale, you're at maturity, or you're at the point to decide whether to kill, to reboot, or to leave your product, user research is important. It's so important. And this brings us to the end of this class, guys. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to just pour into you guys, to share my learnings with you guys. The amazing thing is that it's been a refresher course for me too. It's been an amazing way to go over the things that I know. I'm like, it's so amazing that I even get feedback from third parties, like people that referred you guys, and they tell me, oh, this is the best online course they've ever had. Oh, they feel like, God led them to Product Tent. I am so happy. I prayed for every one of you here, and I'm so glad that you're getting the knowledge that you need to kickstart your career as product managers. Yeah. So I'm going to take 5 questions, but before I get to the question part, I want to quickly share my screen to talk about your assessment. So let me know if you can see my Google Doc now. Let me know if you can see my Google Doc. So this is the week 3 assessment. I said the objective of this assessment is to evaluate my students' ability to conduct user research, develop a user persona, and perform a competitive analysis in the context of product management. Thank you guys too. Thank you for listening to me. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Someone is saying they can't see the screen. Can you see the screen, guys? Okay. Just raise your hands if you have a question. I will just unmute you when it's time. And please, when we want to ask the question, please just go straight to the point so that others too will be able to ask their own questions here. So what's the scenario? You have been hired as a product manager for the products you use for your week 1 assessment. Somebody say amen. I saw somebody use MasterCard. Imagine being hired as a product manager in MasterCard. Or you use Google. Oh my God. You cannot change your product. I'm very sorry. You can't. You cannot change your product. You can't change your product. Yeah, Adelaide, I saw yours, MasterCard. Yeah. So you have been hired as a product manager for the products you use for your week 1 assessment. Your task is to conduct user research, develop a user persona based on your target audience, and perform a competitive analysis. Now, guys, don't let this look cumbersome or very large in your mind. I'm going to break it down. In a few minutes. David, keep quiet. You've done much more bigger assignments than this last year. So just keep quiet before I punch your nose. Oh, he got to the assignment time. People are asking for break. It's not only break. It's breakfast. All right, guys. So this is how you are going to go about the assignments. So you can research existing data to develop. So since it's not a new product, since you went for a product that is already existing, research existing data to develop a user persona for this product based on the insights you gather from your research. So I would advise that you have 1 or 2, maximum of 2, guys, maximum of 2 user personas. Your user persona should include demographic information, goals, challenges, and behaviors of your target audience. That's the first part of your assignment. Now, the second part, after you have decided who your user persona or your target audience are, now you conduct a user research to better understand the needs and preferences of your target audience. Now, the goal, let me write it here. The goal of this research is to identify the pain points of your users. No, you are not limited to what I listed to add to your user persona, but these things are just the basic things that must be there. You are not limited to this. Now, conduct user research to better understand the needs and preferences of your target audience. Now, user research is done with different goals in mind. Sometimes you want to, sorry guys. Sometimes you want to maybe, yes, everything is going to be made available, Fatima. I can assure you of that. Sometimes maybe you want to, I think I should stop recording. Yeah, let me stop recording so that the recording is not going to be too long for people that need to catch up. Trying to find where you are.